everyone for their work and preparation for today's hearing. Department of Technology Director Sam Worth, as well as other representatives from the department, are here tonight, and thank you for being here. Also like to thank my colleagues on council, the staff, CTV, and members of the public for taking time to come down to City Hall tonight, where folks are streaming this online to learn more about this budgetary process. Wish to remind those members of the public who wish to speak to please fill out a speaker slip before the public testimony portion of the hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to review and comment on the proposed 2020 operating budget for the Department of Technology, as well as some of the key initiatives of the upcoming year. The hearing is available to live stream on the CTV website, broadcasted on Spectrum Channel 1024, WOW Channel 3, and AT&T UVerse Channel 99. The video will also be posted on the City of Columbus YouTube channel following the event. With that, I will now turn it over to Director Worth and his team for the presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Dorans, other members of council, for giving the Department of Technology the opportunity to share our 2020 operating budget. I'm joined by Pam O'Grady, our Chief of Staff to my left, and also Rick Wagner, our Chief Operating Officer. We'd like to start by giving a general overview of our role in city government and also include some highlights of various projects we've been working on with our colleagues across the city and work we do to support other departments and the public in 2020. First and foremost,
check see if it's clicked on the back.
First and foremost, we see our role as enabling other city departments to achieve the goals of serving citizens. Our primary mission is supporting agencies across the city and using technology to serve the citizens, residents, and businesses of Columbus and Central Ohio. The department provides support for 12 essential services such as network, telecommunications, applications, programming services, desktop support, IT security, GIS or geographic information systems, and CTV or media services that's broadcasting here today. 6 enterprise applications used by all city departments, which include payroll, GIS, Seller, which is a work order management system, 311, which citizens use to report and make requests to the city overall, Tableau, which is a data analytics tool, and of course citywide email, along with 54 major lines of business applications used by various city departments, in addition to certain technology services to external customers, including the Franklin County Board of Commissioners and Columbus City Schools. At the center of our work is the continual focus on recognizing that our efforts are successful when our customers say we are successful, what we call the pillars of customer satisfaction. DOT has not always been known for its customer service orientation, and we started in 2016 with the focus of reconnecting with our customers, understanding their priorities, direction, and where they want to go. We also had to start with assessing the organization, and more importantly, challenging the organization to be more customer service driven. The first step we took was to establish the values that were aligned with our goals and the future direction for technology within the city. The second step was to reorganize DOT to achieve 2 primary things. One was to be more accountable. We put all operations under one leader to drive transparency, to quickly identify problems, and to be accountable to our customers. That's Rick. But also to engage with our customer. We're bootstrapping a customer service focused division we call IT planning and customer relationship management. That's organized out of PAM. To work with city departments to help craft the city's vision of using IT moving forward. Those efforts are producing results. Our relationships with city departments are steadily improving, as indicated by the slide. These are direct communication that we're receiving from our customers about our staff and how we're doing. And we're hopeful that those relationships will result in positive outcomes in the services we deliver on their behalf. As we mentioned, our focus remains staying connected with and collaborating with our customers. So we continue to always focus on continual improvement. In 2019, we implemented a new service desk system to help us fix existing systems and provide services to our customers. This effort is already helping us to see holistically what the city users are asking of us. A main benefit of our new system is the city users have options to request assistance. Historically, city users had to call in to get help. Now they have expanded service options. In addition to being able to call in, they can also go to the service desk web portal we call Tech Desk, submit requests via online, via chat requests, and even submit requests by email. On average, DOT receives 131 requests for assistance per day. That's nearly 50,000 requests a year, or 5 per city employee. And DOT is maintaining a historically high first response rate for those requests of over 95%. Our focus is on continual improvement, and that will remain an ongoing focus in 2020. Going forward, we're looking for other opportunities for other city departments to utilize the service management platform that you see in front of you. Next slide. Another major focus of our pillars of customer satisfaction is what we call business alignment. Alignment with business means working to understand the priorities of the administration and the departments we serve. It takes people, time, and processes to do that well, but it starts with the belief that the customer focus is the key to success. It also takes support from stakeholders and a business model that aligns with the goal of information technology that is focused on enablement. And I'd like to just share with you a few brief examples of some of the things that we've been working on in 2019. DOT recently partnered with the city's Community Workforce and Apprenticeship Committee to develop a participant registration and session management system. The system made it easy for citizens to match their interests with industry trades that they were most interested in so that they could get most out of the ongoing workforce development workshops that are happening now across the city. DOT worked with Celebrate One to develop a dashboard for measuring the progress of Celebrate One initiatives. This work is being leveraged nationally by other cities implementing similar initiatives around healthy infants. And so what you're seeing is their data dashboard for tracking the progress of infant health. Next slide. DOT worked with the Columbus Division of Fire to develop a dashboard to help track intoxication events affecting public health, including transfer to healthcare providers and treatment outcomes for patients. This type of data is helpful in delivering current and future services to the public. Slide. Lastly, DOT worked with Public Service to provide tools to assist public service in tracking roadway maintenance for surface maintenance, including pothole repairs, crack sealing, and repair projects. Now shifting to some of the major focus areas that started in 2019 and will be continuing into 2020. The Columbus Fiber Network will continue to focus on utilizing the city's extensive fiber network to support the growing needs of the city and making it available for public use. With additional investment in fiber, the city now has over 1,000 miles of fiber that are in use or currently being constructed. The city's fiber network allows for quick and efficient transfer of data between locations across Columbus's footprint, and which enable lower cost use of sensors such as body-worn cameras and dash cameras used by the Columbus Police Department. Our ongoing goals include expanding connectivity to fire departments, which is currently being constructed, and recreation centers, which is part of the current plan. We'll continue to make city fiber available for public use with the goal of expanding broadband access across the city and enhancing economic development opportunities for those who fiber available. As you know, we're also focused on modernization of the city's critical data centers that provide services to city departments across the city. The modernization of the city's 2 data centers was a major focus in 2019 and continues into 2020. The city's data centers host much of the city's IT applications and systems, housing over 1.5 petabytes of data. Petabyte is equal, and over 500 servers. That's a lot of storage, or approximately 10 billion digital photographs stored in the city's data centers in an environmentally safe and secure location. We started with an upgrade this year to the city's network infrastructure. We're rebuilding it to provide high-speed connections across the city's fiber network to enable cloud computing, IoT sensors, and other applications over the next 10 to 20 years. We're also investing in the backup and recovery capabilities of the primary data center, and with the mayor and council's support, just this past Monday are now moving forward to upgrade the servers and the storage on our data centers. The goal of these modernization programs is to enhance our capabilities while reducing long-term costs, improving safety, uptime, and resiliency. We will be integrating our data centers with public cloud offerings to enhance the city's capabilities for always-on information technology that's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. In 2019, DOT created the Client Services Division by combining our desktop and telephone support groups into one department. Client Services supports nearly 20,000 network-connected devices. That includes desktop computers, laptops, telephones into one department. We're exploring expanded support and services for mobile devices such as cell phones, tablets, and have done some pilot projects in digital signage and conference room management. Working together with finance and management, we'll continue to support the audiovisual needs of city departments in 2020, and we'll be working with public safety to review their telecommunications needs for both the police department and fire. Now shifting to applications, an ongoing goal is to continue to review and improve the city's application services. We'll be embarking on a review of all applications in the city's portfolio with an eye on finding ways to create efficiencies in city services. In particular, a focus on Columbus.gov, which is the community's primary online resource for delivering public information and access to services from elected officials and departments. It's one of the most consumed city services for the public, with over 1 billion websites worldwide. Columbus ranks in the top 1% of municipal government websites that are accessed. We have over 5,000 visitors daily and over 3,000 links to other sites within the city. And we also know that beyond users, citizens accessing that site from home, that 41% of access is mobile from cell phones as well. So will remain a major communications tool. And in addition to the website, a companion application we call My Columbus. Next slide, you're already there. Our major smartphone app, it provides citizens an opportunity to access important city services from their pockets on their cell phone. What does the smartphone app provide? Everything from an online payment portal to the ability to apply for a parking permit. Just this year, we've implemented a new feature around finding impound vehicles via My Columbus. That's a new feature that's very popular with those that are impacted. You're able to obtain active recreation information, find out about Columbus Green Spot, submit 311 requests, find out that your street sweeping schedule, and also your reminders for refuse, recycling, and yard waste. Nextly, geographic information services. GIS will continue to remain an ongoing emphasis with over 70 city GIS users across the city. A lot of what city departments do is understanding the impact of their services on individual citizens in their neighborhoods and in their business communities, and the geographic information system is a critical way for us to analyze how city services are being impacted across the city. So continued expansion of geographic information services, which is also important with the investments we're making in data management services. In 2019, we established a new section focused on data management to help city departments find and use data to improve city services. In 2019, with council support, we're currently in the process of implementing a new data management platform that will help to curate data, improve data, and make it available not just for internal city use, but also for external public consumption. Another service that is housed in the Department of Technology that has a specific goal of providing access to local government information is Columbus Government Television, or CTV. CTV is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week cable channel that provides local government news and information to the cable and online subscribers. In 2019, CTV will produce close to 250 hours of on-air programming, including meetings of Columbus City Council and the Franklin Valley County Board of Commissioners. In this hearing, the televised service joins its sister station, Educational Access and Community Bulletin Board. The budget provides for 8 people, 3 channels, CTV, Educable, and Community Bulletin Board, taping close to all city events from fire, recruit graduation to neighborhood pride talent show, public service announcements for Cybersecurity Month and National Preparedness Month, and also feature county commissioners on a contract for approximately $38,000 to cover weekly commissioner meetings. In addition to live broadcasts, residents may access CTV on Channel 3 on both Spectrum and WOW Cable and Channel 99 on UVerse, in addition to live streaming on columbus.gov, CTV, and the My Columbus app. This year, DOT and the city entered into an agreement with WCBZ-TV to broadcast CTV live over the air on Channel 22.6. So the availability of CTV is greater than it ever has been before. In addition to live broadcasting, CTV also develops many videos for city departments this year, including support for the Columbus Women's Commission, Columbus Fire Department, online videos for civil service testing, and much, much more. Many of the live broadcasts and city-produced videos can be found at the city's YouTube channel, which is shown up on the website. So that was a lot in a short period of time, and just a small portion of the work that we're doing within DOT to support city departments across the city. Our overall operating budget, our general, other, and outside fund budget combines to equal $43.86 billion. The majority of that budget is for personnel, or about 49% of our operating budget is for personnel, and with another 41% being for maintenance and support services to existing city systems. The two combined represent about 90% of our budget. The remainder of that operating budget is primarily for debt service. The department uses primarily capital dollars to fund our major initiatives and projects like the data management platform and the modernization of the data centers. So a modest increase in our funded table of organization from 165 staff to 166 since 2019. So thank you, Chairman Dormans. That concludes our testimony. We're certainly happy to address any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Director Orth, both for the reviewing the initiatives that the Department of Technology has been engaged in over the past year, and forward-looking what the department is looking to do in the future, and also going over the budget numbers. A couple of questions just to provide, I think, some clarifying and information for both council and for the public at large. Want to know, so Department of Technology's budget has grown nearly 30% over 2018 and 9% over 2019. Can you share with us what are the main contributors of this growth, and from your opinion, whether or not you see that trend continuing in the future?
Chairman Dorans, members of council, firstly, there's not a single reason for the growth in our budget. Some of the difference is a comparison of actual expenditures to budgetary. Having said that, our overall operating budget is primarily for personnel and ongoing hardware maintenance and software costs, which are both increasing. Let me just take a moment to explain a little bit why. On the personnel side, DOT has added some additional staff. So from 2018 to 2019, we added 6 staff to support primarily our data management and our client services division. But more than that, there's some structural changes that are really going on. Overall, DOT's median staff age in 2018 was 55. It has now dropped to approximately 49.7 or 50 years. So that's really a long way of saying a lot of the staff at DOT have worked quite a long time for the city, and they're now starting to retire. And we've had quite a lot of turnover in the last 2 years with staff retiring. And when we go back out to the labor market here in Columbus, Ohio, we have one of the most competitive IT labor markets in the country. And in order for the city to attract the type of talent that we need to manage our critical systems, in some cases, we're finding that we're having to adjust our compensation in order to be competitive with the marketplace. So that's also a factor. Secondly, when we look at the technology that the city collectively owns, in some cases, we're replacing older systems that have been in the city for 5 to 10 years. And we typically will pay on an annual basis. We'll have hardware maintenance and software maintenance and support as an ongoing cost. With an older system, the annual cost goes down after 5 years, 10 years. Those costs either go down significantly or they eventually go away. But so as we replace them with new systems that are more current and newer, those maintenance costs will go up in the first 5 years of the system's useful life. So given that essentially the staffing turnover and the technology turnover, we've seen some modest increases. And as the city continues to invest in maintaining staff and implementing new systems, we would generally expect these types of that kind of trend to continue over time. Yes.
Thank you, Director. Speaking directly to the staffing, so I think you talked a little bit about some of the costs associated with that. Looking at the budget numbers by program right now with the Department of Technology, we're seeing a reduction in staffing for network, but an increase of staffing for telephone services and fiber. Could you just speak to a little bit what accounts for those changes?
Absolutely. Chairman Dorman's members of council, most of these changes are really explained as staff transfers. One of the things that we did was to create that new client services division. Our telephone group historically was part of our networking organization. We felt that we needed the telephone staff to be closer to the customers. So we combined our telephone staff with our desktop support staff so that both the telephone team and the desktop support team could work together to support our customers, the 10,000 city users across the city. In addition, a portion of the telephone staff, we're actually really just doing cable installation. So whenever we install a telephone or a computer or a printer somewhere in a city department, they're actually installing copper cable in walls and in closets and so forth. And we felt that that was a better fit with our fiber group. Our fiber organization spends a lot of time installing fiber into city departments. So all but one of the positions really is just a change in terms of where the staff are located. So not a net reduction, but just a change in what internal department in the city. With the exception is there is one net new position in the fiber group. We added a fiber project manager in 2019. The city used to outsource that function to a private company, and the city took over. We took over responsibility for marketing the city's fiber by hiring a dedicated fiber manager in 2019.
Thank you, Director. Last question I have for you this evening. One of the key roles, and I think you mentioned this in your presentation earlier, is to provide technology services to all the departments of the city, including a lot of public-facing websites. Those include 311, My Brother's Keeper, the 2020 Census, Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Celebrate One, and many others. A lot of these websites have ongoing maintenance and have needs for being updating. Just wanted to ask the department, thinking through from a budgetary standpoint, what the plans are for making sure that as a city we're making sure that we're staying updated with any kind of website that's directed to the public. Because I think we all know when the public gets on a website that's provided by the city or a government agency, they want that information to be right, and they want that information to be timely and not a broken link from like 3 years ago. So I wonder if you could just speak to that about the department's work to make sure that those types of websites are updated for the public.
Chairman Doran's, members of council, we live online, and the website, as we indicated before, is really the most important resource that we have to communicate with the public, and that is increasing. So if we look at our current technology that we have, that's the city relies on and uses, our current, we call this a web hosting platform, and the current platform, which we call Ectron, it's a product name, is over 12 years old. And what's more, it was acquired by another company. So we don't know how much longer it's going to be supported by the company that acquired it. And then on top of that, beyond the communication that the city has departmentally and as a city externally, there's a lot of communication internally with city staff, 10,000 employees across the city. And that, in a way, is also a website. They're called intranets, but in a way, it's really just an internal internet, if you want to think about it from that point of view. And that's also an aging system. So it's time, given the city's ongoing focus for improving communication and engagement with the residents and with staff, which are so critical to delivering those services across the city. The administration is making web hosting for both external communication and internal communication a focus area in 2020. And while we cannot communicate exactly what that plan looks like right now today, we can tell you that this will be a focus of the administration in 2020, and we will be coming forward with a plan and a roadmap for an enterprise refresh for this very important city function in 2020.
Thank you, Director. I think most folks very much appreciate hearing the department's essentially focused on making that a priority moving forward, so thank you. At this point of the hearing, I'd like to move on to the public testimony portion. I just want to ask staff if we have any public speakers that filed slips. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to close the hearing. I want to thank everyone who's in attendance, and for those watching at home this evening. I want to thank the Department of Technology, certainly Director Worth, for your presentation. A number of the members of the leadership team are here, Pam O'Grady, Rick Wagner, and Tom Diamond. Members of my staff, Hannah Miller and Kevin McCain, Karina Johnson from our Legislative Research Office, who provides support to council and the department. Really enjoyed the presentation. I appreciate all the information you've shared, not only with council as we make our decisions on the budget process, but also for the public to better understand what the Department of Technology does and why it's important to the citizens of Columbus and the city. If folks are interested in learning more about what the Department of Technology does, they can certainly visit the website at columbus.gov/technology or call 614-645-2550. If you're looking for more information on the overall proposed 2020 operating budget, you can find that at columbus.gov/finance. Whether it's a question about the Department of Technology or any other department, members of the public are certainly welcome to contact my office at 614-645-8201 or email me at radorns, DORANS, @columbus.gov. And with that, this budget hearing is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.